Manufacturers continue to blur the lines between small tablets and large smartphones, and the latest manufacturer to push that boundary is Sony. Its latest smartphone has stretched our hands and pockets for more than a week now. I'm Taylor Martin, this is Pocketnow, and this is our full review of the Sony Xperia Z Ultra. But before we get to that, we'd like to give a shout out to our friends at Negri Electronics for lending us a Z Ultra for this review. Check out their site for a Z Ultra of your own, other mobile devices, or mobile accessories. Externally, the Xperia Z Ultra takes many design cues from its nearest relatives, the Xperia Z and Xperia Tablet Z. It features practically the same design, an all-glass front and back with high-quality matte finish trim along the edges. And like those two siblings, the Z Ultra comes with IP55 and IP58 dust-proofing and water-resistant certifications, meaning it can withstand up to 1 meter of water submersion for up to 30 minutes. But there are two aspects of the Z Ultra which are impossible to miss: how extremely thin the device is and its massive footprint. It measures 179.4 millimeters tall and 92.2 millimeters wide, more like a tablet than a smartphone. It also hits the scales at 212 grams, yet it only measures 6.5 millimeters thick. Its large stature is, most obviously, due to its enormous display. Diagonally, the Xperia Z Ultra's display is 6.4 inches. At a resolution of 1920 by 1080 pixels, it offers a respectable density of 344 pixels per inch. And like the Xperia Z devices before it, the Z Ultra's display appears slightly washed out beside displays like the HTC One's SLCD3 display or AMOLED panels. It doesn't offer very deep blacks, and while its viewing angles are wider than we remember with the smaller Xperia Z, we're not blown away by the Xperia Z Ultra's display. However, the Mobile Bravia Engine 2 certainly helps in video playback and while viewing pictures. One unique feature worth mentioning is the ability to use any old pen or pencil with the Z Ultra as a makeshift stylus. For us, in all the times we've tried it, it's been hit or miss, and it lacks the level of integration Samsung's S Pen offers. It's unfortunately no more useful than a standard capacitive stylus. Other than that, the Z Ultra puts up some impressive specifications. It ships with the Snapdragon 800 chipset, which is composed of a 2.2 GHz quad-core Crate 400 CPU and Adreno 330 GPU. It has 2 GB of RAM and 16 GB of fixed storage, but the storage is expandable by way of microSD card. The camera sensor around back is rated at 8 megapixels while the front camera is 2 megapixels, and the battery is rated at 3050 mAh. If you've seen our videos on any of the recent Xperia devices, you know exactly what to expect with the Z Ultra's software. Quite literally, nothing has changed. This is Android version 4.2.2 beneath Sony's customized skin. It comes with a set of 8 themes to choose from, a set of Sony's widgets, and its own custom icons. It also has a handful of pre-installed applications. The most noteworthy customization is the set of quick setting toggles at the top of the notification shade, which are user-definable. Of course, the small apps are still accessible by pressing the Recent Apps button. More are available in the Play Store, and there is the usual power management software in the Settings application, Stamina Mode, which can easily double or triple your standby time depending on your usage. Finally, under the Xperia connectivity submenu in Settings, Sony has included some throw settings for playing wireless content on connected displays, as well as support for DualShock 3 wireless controllers, perfect for gamers. Performance is unquestionably the highest point of the Xperia Z Ultra. The Snapdragon 800 chip is easily one of the most powerful chipsets we've ever put our hands on, second only to the Tegra 4. It chews synthetic benchmarks up and spits them out without even thinking about breaking a sweat. The Z Ultra makes light work of intense gaming and multitasking, and it has no problems putting up the numbers where it counts. It performs extremely smoothly. For the diehards and performance junkies, this device is a dream come true. But we must note that after several hard resets, we're still experiencing issues with the touchscreen. It's insensitive at times, not even picking up taps and swipes. Other times, it's entirely too sensitive or poorly calibrated, accepting swipes as taps and vice versa. We can neither confirm that this is a common issue nor that we've received a defective unit. It doesn't seem to be a common problem, but we have found more than one other user with a similar problem. The speaker on this device is, plainly put, weak. It's quiet, tinny, and entirely too easy to cover up. We suggest sticking with headphones when possible. And it's also worth noting that stamina, especially in heavy usage, is nothing worth writing home about. We were able to manage a full day of charge on the device, but only by leaving it in our pockets most of the day. In use, the battery drops rather quickly on the Z Ultra. The upshot? Stamina mode does its job exceptionally well, and the Z Ultra charges extra quick, also thanks to the Snapdragon 800. The call quality on the Z Ultra is par for the course. The earpiece speaker is nice, and the callers on the other end noted that we sounded crisp and very clear. Speakerphone quality was, as expected, not that great. The volume was simply too low, and callers sounded robotic at times. And data speeds, tested on both T-Mobile and AT&T HSPA Plus networks in the Charlotte Metro and Winston-Salem areas of North Carolina were moderate, but nothing terribly impressive. About 5 megabits per second down and 1 to 2 megabits per second up. And the camera quality, at 8 megapixels with no LED flash, is once again modest. It takes fairly crisp photos with bright colors, but it often erred on the side of way too cool, giving many photos a dead feel without some post-processing or manual white balance adjustment. It does, however, come with a lot of settings and shooting modes to toggle and choose between, and we must note it comes set to 5 megapixels out of the box for a 16:9 aspect ratio. Images are on par with other 8 megapixel cameras, but they're nothing mind-blowing. So what do we make of all this? It's quite simple actually. The Xperia Z Ultra is not a phone for everyone. In fact, it's only practical for a very small subset of people who feel a smartphone is simply not enough. It's for the user who feels a small tablet is more usable and geared towards the performance they need out of a pocket-sized device. Our problem with the Z Ultra is that for the vast majority of people who might consider a 6.4-inch device, it's simply too big. There's an unusual amount of bezel at the top and bottom of the display, which we imagine is due to it being so thin. Instead, if you approach this device as a small tablet, like a Nexus 7 with an earpiece instead of a giant Xperia Z, you will see this device in a much more favorable light. And if it weren't for the inconsistent touchscreen, we probably would have enjoyed this smartphone a whole heck of a lot more. It's basically unadulterated power, and it feels untamed, unfinished. We give the Xperia Z Ultra a 7.5 out of 10. And for one final time, we would like to thank our friends at Negri Electronics for lending us this Xperia Z Ultra for review. Check out their site and tell them Pocketnow sent you.
That's going to wrap this video up. If you enjoyed it, be sure to click the thumbs up button below and subscribe to see more videos like this one in the future, and let us know how you felt about the video in the comments below. Follow us on all the usual channels, Twitter, Google+, and Facebook at Pocketnow. You can find me on Twitter at CasperTech. I'm Taylor Martin, and I will see you next time.